Hey guys, it's Mike from We Are the Batman here. Just want to let you know we have a new website you guys can go to. Just go to podpage.com/We Are the Batman. That's podpage.com/We Are the Batman. You can get all of our episodes there, get a little more information about us, and most importantly, you can leave us reviews and you can leave us comments and messages, send us questions and episode ideas, and you can even leave us voicemails. All these great tools are on the website. Head over to podpage.com/We Are the Batman. We always love to hear from you guys. Head on over there now and check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew.
All right, so we are going to do our casting of the DCU villains. Last week we had a show idea from TJ Montgomery about doing casting James Gunn's DCU Justice League, and we were like, well, hey, we should probably do some villains. I reached out to TJ, and he sent us his list. I have not seen it yet, so we'll get to his at the end. But we'll get into the rules and all that in a little bit here. But first, hey Matt, do you have your tickets ready?
I do have my tickets ready.
Then let's take our tickets and go to the Gun Show. All right, we're going to take a look at that. This time, we're not actually doing a deep dive into James Gunn's Twitter. We're just going off some stuff he said in a YouTube video, one of the YouTube Wired videos where they let celebrities look at like the most searched things about them and respond to them. And James Gunn did one with his brother Sean. And in this video, he revealed two kind of neat pieces of information in regards to DCU projects. The first of which is that Superman Legacy starts shooting in January. We know it's in pre-production right now. The script is done. That the costume designers and set designers, all this, they're all meeting. So we know that that's shooting in January, which means we're probably going to get some casting news soon.
I would imagine. I mean, you know, we not to get too far into it, but with the writer strike, it looks like there might be an actor strike compounding that. So I don't know if that inhibits things, but yes, you're right. He has talked about that there's somewhere, I think it was on Instagram, where he talked about the kind of person they're looking for. So they're narrowing it down, but seeing like hundreds of people. But I think, you got this whole thing. I mean, we want to imagine that most actors are in relatively good shape, but we also know that most of them want to get as swole as possible for some inexplicable reason to play Superman.
Well, it's what works nowadays. But yeah, with Flash is coming out soon. We are I think we're like a month almost to the day from the Flash being released. And we've said that as soon as the Flash comes out, that's when we're going to start getting more information, because then the reset has happened and we can start learning some things. So give it 6 weeks, I'd say, and we'll have a clearer idea. But also, speaking of casting, like a little over a month ago, the cast of Creature Commandos was announced. Frank Grillo, David Harbour, Alan Tudyk, a whole bunch of others. And we know now that from this video, they are currently recording all the voice work, which you had figured that if they were announcing the cast, we are going into this show being made if it's not already started. And yeah, they're recording, and there's a pretty good chance this video from Wired was taped, a little bit ago. This was not like they taped it and put it up the next day. So odds are they've been recording for a bit. So
yeah,
we'll probably be seeing some more from that soon.
Yeah, voice acting is not like being, Superman in a movie. You don't have to buff up to do voice acting, even though Frank Grillo is shredded. But
David Harbour's no slouch.
Yeah, so the fact that they've announced it probably means cool, you guys come over here and do this.
Yeah. Like I said, post the Flash coming out, we'll probably get a lot more information. I'm still really hoping we're going to get announcement of another DC fandom. That seems like the kind of thing James Gunn might want to take advantage of. But everything we've read, DC fandom was kind of their response to the pandemic, with there being no Comic-Con and things like that. Now that a lot of those restrictions have been lifted, they're probably going to go back to just doing Comic-Con, which I get. But there is something kind of nice about having your own little special DC web, because they were cool. I mean, for totally virtual events, they're pretty good, honestly.
Well, and if you just comb James Gunn's Twitter, you'll get everything you would get at DC.
That's also true. But I would expect we'll see another video announcement from James Gunn once the Flash, a couple weeks after the Flash is out, because by then Guardians will have kind of done the majority. He'll be done with the Guardians promotion tour, and he'll be in full DC mode. Speaking of going to full DC mode, let's talk about James Gunn's DCU some more. Let's get into talking about some DCU villains. So similar to last week, we set some rules for ourselves with the casting, and mainly that was just who we were going to cast, because at first we thought, because as soon as we were done taping the episode, we're like on the phone, all right, what villains are we doing? And of course, your first instinct is a villain per hero. Okay, cool. Name a Martian Manhunter villain. Exactly. Name a villain for Wonder Woman other than Cheetah. Yeah, I thought so. We've got 2 Green Lanterns. So we went through, we threw some names around. The list we came up with was Sinestro, Captain Cold, Lex Luthor, Metallo, Cheetah, Ra's al Ghul, and Deathstroke. Those are the ones we settled on. We sent this list to TJ Montgomery. We'll get his list here at the end of the show. Through casting some of these, I had a few other villain character casting ideas. I think you had 1 or 2 as well, Matt.
That's correct.
You want to give our non-main villain castings first, our little honorable mentions, and get those out of the way first?
Yeah, let's get the randos out.
Out. You had 1, right?
Yeah, I had 1. I had Star Sapphire, just because, if you got 2 Green Lanterns, we're probably going to need 2 Green Lantern villains.
That's fair.
So I picked Alicia Wainwright. She plays the mom on Raising Dion, which is actually a pretty good show. If you haven't had the chance to see it, it's on Netflix.
I've not seen anything she's been in, so I can't.
Yeah, she's in I don't know if the movie's come out or if it's on the horizon. There's a movie with Justin Timberlake that she is the co-star in. It was like a real big drama. I'm trying to look it up real quick. I just think it's funny because she's the girl who he got caught like being a little too friendly with out in public.
Sure.
And got him in a little bit of trouble.
Sure. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It wasn't that big of a deal because it's not like he's a gigantic star. Palmer. It was last year. The name of the movie was Palmer.
Okay.
It was a weird drama. Anyway, yes, he got photographed basically holding hands with this girl out in public. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. It was just more comical than anything else.
Yeah.
And, I don't blame him. She's a beautiful girl. She'll look great in a costume. So, hey, sorry that that those things happen, but whatever.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything she's been in. I've seen the Lethal Weapon show that was on Fox. I actually liked that show, but I mean, she was only in 1 episode, so I have no idea who she played. So I can't really comment on anything, whether or not how good she is as an actress, basically. But I'll take your word for it if you've seen Raising Dion. I haven't gotten around to watching that yet.
That's pretty good.
I have a few. So one of the ones I picked was for Wonder Woman, because she does have one other kind of cool villain. I mostly picked this character because it's probably my favorite character in the Harley Quinn show. And I picked the actor because I want to see him in more things superhero related. I picked Dr. Psycho.
Okay.
And I picked Peter Dinklage because it's such a, like, what if Tyrion was a full-blown supervillain? That's kind of what Dr. Psycho is. And I think it would be a cool chance for Peter Dinklage to flex his comedy muscles a little bit, and really just go full-blown evil. Like he was a villain in Days of Future Past, but he wasn't evil.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of one of which I stole from an earlier episode that we did talking about Guardians actors in the DCU. Bradley Cooper is Black Mask. I think that's a great one. Yes. This one's not so much a villain, but it's kind of a villain, at least for a little bit, and that would be Lucas Hedges as Red Hood, Jason Todd.
Okay. Lucas Hedges, refresh me.
Lucas Hedges was in, and now I'm blanking on the name of it. He was in Manchester by the Sea. He was in Lady Bird.
I haven't seen anything with this guy.
Okay. He's got this kind of like punk ass motherfucker look on his face.
Fair.
Like he's a guy who would just have a ton of attitude and would just be a pain in Batman's ass as Robin. I like his look. I think he's got a good Jason Todd Red Hood look. And then the other one I picked because I finally watched The Menu.
Oh, nice.
Great movie, by the way. batshit crazy. I'll never watch it again. It's an awesome movie. Anya Taylor-Joy as Harley Quinn, I think would be a neat pick.
Have you mentioned that before, or have we just talked about it off air?
After I watched the movie? I don't think I mentioned it on the show before, but she's got a hell of a grin. She's got a nice big grin smile. I think she'd be a lot of fun as Harley Quinn. If we go, I have no doubt whatsoever they're going to keep Margot Robbie, but if for whatever reason they decide to recast Harley Quinn, I think Anya Taylor-Joy would be a good pick. All right. So those are all the ones like that.
Hold on real quick. I'm sorry. I would just say this, like, looking at everything you've picked besides a kid I don't know, like, it's it goes without saying, it's never a bad idea to hire good talent. You got some great talent right there.
It's all talent.
Can't dispute any of them.
All right. Let's get into the main meat villains that we decided to pick here. So again, we're going through Sinestro, Captain Cold, Lex Luthor, Metallo, Cheetah, Ra's al Ghul, and Deathstroke. Where do we want to start here?
I think we start from the bottom and go up.
What's the bottom?
The bottom, the opposite of the way you listed it.
Okay, so we'll start with Deathstroke.
Yes.
Who, and again, this is one of those ones that was hard to cast because I really liked Joe Manganiello for it, and he didn't get a chance. So this is a hard one to pick because Joe Manganiello would have been my first choice. Who did you pick for Deathstroke?
I went. This is another one of those where I think, like, it goes without saying to pick him. A lot of people have wanted him to be a Batman really bad a couple years ago, and that's Scott Adkins.
Oh, okay.
Like,
all right.
The skill is there. He has grown as an actor over the last several years, and some of the things I've seen him in, especially somebody like Deathstroke, it's not like you're going to get into, I mean, if you go with the pure villain, you're not going to get into too much emotional range. If you get into the anti-hero he's been kind of generated as over the last, since Rebirth, you would probably, but he's probably going to be a villain. And Scott Adkins, like, I think he's kind of grown a lot. And dude, he is a martial arts badass.
Yeah. I haven't seen John Wick Chapter 4 yet. Hopefully one day soon. But no, he was in Doctor Strange as one of the zealots that he's the one that Doctor Strange is fighting in the Sanctum.
Yeah. He does the Guyver kick.
Yeah, you pick him because he can fight. Deathstroke's a fighter. He's also in one of the Ip Man. He was in Ip Man 4, which I have not seen. I need to see Ip Man 4 because I like it. I like the first ones. But yeah, like you look, his whole catalog is just action movies. He was actually in this movie sucks, but in X-Men Origins Wolverine, he was the body double for
Deadpool.
At the end. For quote unquote Deadpool.
Yeah. No, he's one of these guys. He's been in a ton of stuff, but he always, like, he's in Zero Dark 30. He's random, like, he'll randomly show up in big movies. He was in American Assassin. You're just like, just shows up. But he, like I said, he's grown on me. Originally, like, if you go back to some of his earlier stuff, he does a lot of B-level stuff. Acting was not his thing, but he's gotten much better. The Debt Collector and Debt Collector 2, just the charm of the ridiculousness of those movies kind of, got me into him. There's been a couple other films I've seen him in. His show, The Art of Action, is stellar. So yeah, Scott Adkins, Deathstroke.
No, that's not bad. I also picked someone from a John Wick movie for Deathstroke. I picked John Wick. I picked Keanu Reeves.
So he wasn't your ratio goal.
He was not my ratio goal. When we were talking on the phone the other day, you started name dropping people. You were like, I didn't want to pick them. And I said, we need to stop talking because you're saying no to people that I said yes to. And we're about to fight on the phone. I picked Keanu Reeves for Deathstroke. I went someone who clearly can handle the action. I mean, we've seen the videos of Keanu Reeves doing the gun training, those action gun training arenas. And I also wanted to pick someone who was kind of the age, because Deathstroke's supposed to be a guy who's been around for a minute. He's in his late 40s, early 50s. He's not new. There's a reason he can go toe to toe with Batman. It's because he's got the experience and the skill and the know-how. And I think this would be a really cool role for Keanu Reeves to just, I mean, he's already played a DC character once with Constantine, but to see Keanu Reeves, especially with like the gray in the hair and the eye patch, to just go in and just fight with Batman would be awesome.
Yeah. See, I really wanted Keanu Reeves to be Taskmaster because of the
That would also
relationship
be
that
good.
Taskmaster has with Deadpool, and I was like, dude, it'd be so hilarious to see like Keanu Reeves interact with Ryan Reynolds is something I want.
Man, I liked Black Widow. What a misuse of Taskmaster.
Oh, good night. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so Keanu Reeves is who I want. Let's go next. Let's go to, well, speaking of Ra's al Ghul, let's go to Ra's al Ghul. Who did, so since you didn't pick Keanu Reeves, who did you go with?
He was on the, I went with a couple, you know who I almost went with John Cho, but I was like, no, still can't see it. He's not old enough yet.
Okay.
No, I had a hard time. And then like, I don't know what, I was just going through Twitter and hit this up. I picked Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips as Ra's al Ghul?
Yes.
Serious?
I just like the thing.
Really?
Yes, this is what I think about is like Ra's al Ghul is one of those guys that like 2 steps away, you're on his team. Like he's not wrong about what he's trying to do. His methods are incorrect. So to me, it's like he's almost got a pseudo cult. You got to have somebody who's likable, but then also can switch on that evil darkness pretty quickly. And I don't know if you've ever watched Longmire, but Lou Diamond Phillips was fabulous.
Lou Diamond Phillips is so good in Longmire.
Yeah. So I just thought, like, dude, you just give him a little, even more of an edge, make him evil intent. And I was like, dude, put a goatee on him. Like I could see it. It is a, what is that called? That is a wide swing that could end up just bouncing off the fence and getting caught. But I was like, that would be something different and interesting.
I don't hate it. I think part of that's because I really love Lou Diamond Phillips. You can go all the way back to La Bamba, and like I love Lou Diamond Phillips. I don't hate that idea. I really don't. I think that's fun. I think that's interesting. And I'm picturing him in my head with the goatee right now, and I'm like, yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's kind of different, isn't it?
It is. Which so is mine. This was hard. This was a hard one because we've had 3 live action Ra's al Ghuls. We had Liam Neeson. Well, 4 if you count Ken Watanabe, but who actually on paper is not a bad choice. But we had him. We had Liam Neeson. We had Alexander Siddig, who played him in Gotham, and I do not have the name of the actor in front of me that played him on Arrow. And I think that, like, I mean, obviously Ken Watanabe doesn't really count because he was literally playing a decoy. But when you look at like Liam Neeson, Alexander Siddig, and the guy from Arrow, all 3 of them were like different variations of pretty good, honestly. Like the problem with Alexander Siddig in Gotham was the writing. It wasn't him.
Yeah. It
was what they did with him, which was next to nothing. And the guy who played him in Arrow was pretty good too. It's just that season of Arrow was atrocious. And Liam Neeson's Liam Neeson. So
yeah,
I mean, I think Liam Neeson kind of got the closest out of anybody. So what I ended up doing was I went online and just went into like Ra's al Ghul's origins. Like what is his backstory, which is obviously it's like the Joker. You can't really trust his backstory because it's so shrouded in mystery and age. But kind of the original origin for Ra's al Ghul was that he was like a Chinese nomad. So I was like, okay, let me look at like older like Asian Chinese actors who can handle the action. I went with Donnie Yen.
That's no problem. I have no problem with that.
Because he's again another John Wick actor, because he's in John Wick 4 playing another blind assassin. That's twice now he's done that. If you count Rogue One,
it's his thing, I guess
it is. But I love Donnie Yen. He has so much fun with everything he does. Like he got told, "Hey, you're gonna go play a blind monk in a Star Wars movie," and he was like, "All right, cool. Can I take out a whole bunch of stormtroopers as a blind guy?" And they were like, "Of course, yeah."
Yeah.
He took I'm one with the Force and the Force is with me. And objectively silly mantra and made it cool. Donnie Yen is just cool, and I think he would be a really, and we know, again, like if Ra's al Ghul is going to be in a movie, if Rachel Ghul is going to be in a movie, I want him to hand fight like a ninja with somebody. And if there's anybody who can do that, it is Donnie Yen.
Yes, and definitely when you get into like sword fighting, because he's fantastic at the weapons.
Yeah.
Speaking of that art of action, both Scott Adkins and Keanu Reeves were like, the dude's fast.
Yeah.
Like they would just talk about how like even working with him, you're just like, nope. What was it Scott Adkins said? He basically said like, if I had to block the third punch, I would try to block the first one, and sometimes I would get it.
yeah, like that. I go back to that fight in Rogue One where he takes out all the stormtroopers. Like that is not editing. That is Donnie Yen. That is 100% grade A Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
I would love to see Donnie Yen. Just in more nerd properties in general, being a badass action guy. Why wasn't he in Shang-Chi? God damn it. Seriously, put him in the
you know what? When it comes to acting, I have to give it to Tony Leung.
Tony Leung was so good. No, that wasn't a knock against anybody who was in Shang-Chi. Like, we couldn't find a spot for Donnie Yen. Really? Really?
He'll be in the sequel.
He'll be in the sequel. Put him in the sequel. Seriously. All right. Let's go to the one that took me a minute, and then I got hit with the stroke of genius. Let's go to Cheetah.
Okay.
Who'd you pick?
Karen Gillan. Who else am I going to pick?
You pick her for everything. She can't be Wonder Woman and Cheetah, Matt.
I did not pick her for Wonder Woman. I said I wouldn't be upset if somebody picked her. That was your buddy.
That's true. Yeah, you did. Yeah, TJ, you're out of your mind, buddy. I love you. Really? Okay, Karen Gillan for Cheetah. All right, sell me on it. Other than the fact you can't just say it's Karen Gillan. Like
it's really Karen Gillan. No.
It's
dude.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, what Jumanji? The Duel?
Yeah. Jumanji. Jumanji's a good callback.
Like the thing of it is like, look, I don't want to be this way, but I'm going to be this way. Her name's Cheetah. She's a feline. She's got to be able to move. She's got to be sexy. Kristen Wiig is none of that in any day of the week.
Oh, I think Kristen Wiig's hot as hell.
See, and I haven't watched the movie, so I can't.
But Kristen Wiig makes me laugh, and that's already a very attractive personality component for me for a woman. I love Kristen Wiig.
I'm not saying she's an ugly woman. I'm just saying she's not a feline.
She was a weird pick for Cheetah, though.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Yeah, did she help somebody bury a body? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
She wasn't bad in the movie. Just the movie was just bad.
Yeah. So that's where I go like, that's kind of odd.
Yeah.
But pardon me. But no, I'm trying to figure out just her. She's awesome. Like I like her look. I think she would be, somebody you would buy as a foil for whoever you cast as Wonder Woman. So yeah, that's why I pick as Karen Gillan.
It's not a bad pick. It's not a bad. It's just her name comes up a lot on this show because we all want to put her in something. I want her to be Phantasm. So
yeah,
or Oracle. Well, I kind of like you. My thought process was I want someone athletic who's already good with fight choreography. Who's got a limberness to her, so you don't need to do as much CGI wire work with her. I went with Sophia Boutella.
Okay, that's a girl from the first
she was in,
right?
Well, she was in Star Trek Beyond. I don't know if she's in Kingsman or not. She's Star Trek Beyond. She's in Hotel Artemis. As much as the movie sucks, she's in the 2017 version of The Mummy.
Yes, she was
in Atomic Blonde. Yeah, like she's been, but she's very, but like the two roles I think about most for her, again, weirdly enough, is The Mummy and Star Trek Beyond. She's experienced with doing makeup and like the creature makeup, alien work, especially in Star Trek Beyond. She's able to do this kind of weird animalistic side to her, which is what she's going to have. And she can do fight choreography with some of the best. Hotel Artemis in particular, she's doing crazy fucking gymnastics the whole movie and kicking the shit out of people. That movie is very good. It's a great B movie. So I think Sofia Boutella doesn't get enough work for how good she is, and I know that like, The Mummy is kind of a big stain on her career. But I think if they gave her the shot to be the cheetah with a good script, and just didn't try to make some weirdness out of it, just go with Cheetah's origin. Archaeologist finds this shit, gets powers, whatever. Go with that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I can't dispute it. She's been good in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's never the problem.
Yeah,
she's never the problem. All right, let's go to the next one that I think maybe people who are listening to this might have been like, really? Metallo. I really like Metallo. He's one of my preferred Superman villains. I don't, because I'm not a big Superman fan to begin with. But I do really like Metallo as a villain. I think he's a cool villain.
Yeah, but Metallo, the only issue with Metallo is like you got to fully lean into the comic book thing because he's a robot.
Mm-hmm. He's a kryptonite powered Terminator.
Yeah, so
I'm totally into that.
Yeah, so getting to the point where you can believe that that's something that actually can be created now, I think is what causes issues with some of these characters. I think we're getting there now that you could get into AI, or even if you did like what you did with Ultron, where Tony Stark didn't really make him. The Infinity Stone created him, and that's why we're here.
Treat it like a combination of Cyborg and the Terminator.
Yeah.
That's what you got. And just stick the old kryptonite gem in his heart. And you got something cool. There's a lot you can do with Metallo. Who I'm curious who you pick. Who did you pick for Metallo?
Mustafa Shakir. He played Jet Black in the Cowboy Bebop show.
Nope.
Live action. He was the villain in the second season of Luke Cage.
Season 2 of Luke Cage.
He was in Ghosted, the recent thing. He's been in a couple different things, and everything I've seen him in, he's really impressed me. Mustafa Shakir.
Mustafa or Mustafar?
I think it's a Mustafa. I thought it is.
Mustafa Shakir. Okay. I'm pulling him up right now. Yeah, I haven't watched season 2 of Luke Cage. I heard it was kind of
it was.
But I'm not an anime fan, so I sure as shit didn't watch Cowboy Bebop live action.
You dodged a bullet, bro.
Yeah. See, I've seen some of the stuff he's been in, but I don't remember him in particular.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back and watch again because like I saw Emancipation, The Deuce, American Gods. I just think I need to go back and watch again and just watch more of him. But okay.
No, he's got a good presence. He's got a good voice. Like the color of his eyes would just make you buy. You wouldn't have to do any CG on his eyes. Like he has crazy green eyes.
Holy shit, he does. Wow.
And he's just awesome, dude. Everything I've seen him in, I think he's great. It's just one of those times like I can't believe this guy hasn't been in bigger things and bigger roles and bigger stuff. But yeah, that is my pick for Metallo.
Hell yeah. I went with somebody who I went with John Bernthal.
I could see that.
Yeah. I guess it's John Bernthal. I love John Bernthal. Put John Bernthal in everything. Right. He's right up there with dude playing Crossbones. We just talked about him. Creature Commandos.
Frank Grillo.
Yeah, like put them and stuff together, please. The fact we don't get to see Punisher John Bernthal take on Frank Grillo Crossbones in the MCU is upsetting. But the fun thing with John with Metallo is that like because he's essentially a cyborg who covers himself, he disguises himself in a human skin. You can put John Bernthal in the first one, and then you don't have to use John Bernthal again. You can use other actors and just write it as Metallo has a different skin that he's hiding in. It's easy. You never have to worry about casting someone and contracting them for 5 movies or whatever. If John Bernthal's like, I can do it, but I can't commit to it. Like I can do the one. It's like, okay, cool. Come do one. We'll swap you out with somebody else for the next one. If we decide to bring you back, or if we decide, or we kill off Metallo, it's fine. He's not Metallo's a cool villain, but you don't have to make him like a long-standing villain. He can be one and done. he's a cool villain to pop up with though. But yeah, John Bernthal, I can see him being like because Metallo. I started rewatching the Superman animated series from the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh gosh, yes.
Does not hold up as well as I remember, but it's still not bad. But I really liked Metallo in that show, and I can totally see him being this like, this crime, not the crime boss, but like big time crook, smuggler working for Lex Luthor, gets messed up in a fight and has like this grudge against Superman. Plus, I think it'd be fun. It's fun to watch John Bernthal be a bad guy.
Yes.
It's great seeing him as Punisher, who is a hair trigger away from being a bad guy. To see John Bernthal be a bad guy, going toe-to-toe with Superman would be a lot of fun.
I think it would be. Like he's one of those guys. Like what was that movie? Oh my gosh, Sicario, where he's like the nicest, coolest dude, and then the moment you realize what he's there for, he just totally switches into villainy. And I think that's something with Metallo is I mean, it's been a while since I watched that Superman show, but originally he's just kind of like some dude trying to do the job, and then he just gets more and more, like you said, overly obsessed with killing Superman. And
exactly
one of my favorite shots in that whole series is just watching him walk on the ocean floor.
So good.
You're just he's going somewhere to kill somebody.
Metallo is a cool villain, and I really think it's about time we had him show up and gave him a live action treatment. All right, let's get to the bald motherfucker. Let's get to Lex Luthor. I hate Lex Luthor. It's one of my least favorite villains in all of comic book nerddom, whatever you want to call it. I think he's a pretty boring character. Who'd you pick for Lex Luthor?
I went to a place where people are going to get me mad at me, but again, I go to this whole like, what's it called?
What else is new? I mean,
no, I mean like what I'll say this is again one of these villains where he's got to be a charming, cool dude.
Yeah.
And then behind closed doors, he's a dick.
Yep.
And I've liked this guy in like the 2 or 3 projects I've seen him in. I picked Riz Ahmed.
I love Riz Ahmed so much. Riz Ahmed is such a good. He needs more work. Please put Riz Ahmed in more things.
Yeah.
As Lex Luthor, I don't hate that idea. Because he was kind of a Lex Luthor-y character in Venom, but the problem with that movie was the script. I like Riz Ahmed a lot,
dude. I think, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I was about to tell you, dude, I did cast him as a detective in V for Vendetta, and I was like, wait a minute, that was you. We did that episode.
Oh my god, we did do that episode, didn't we? Oh, that's right.
But no, he's just this really cool actor, but I really feel like this would be because like Lex Luthor isn't the dude who's gonna like become the intimidated villain that goes nuts. He's gonna be the guy who's scheming and figuring things out the Machiavellian way to get over on Superman. Because this, unlike other villains, this Lex Luthor is never the villain who's gonna stand toe to toe with Superman. He's never gonna buck up to Batman and get into a fight with him. Like he's going to be scheming. He's going to make sure Metallo is there to fight these guys. But just having a highly intelligent guy who isn't like, I want to say he's not a weakling, but he's just not this like fully big stature dude. He's just like, this guy's the smartest guy in every room he goes into and the smoothest dude everywhere we go.
He's Batman with a god complex.
Yeah,
is what Lex Luthor boils down to. He's with a god complex and not as much imagination.
Yeah. 40 years ago, I'd have cast Lando Calrissian as Lex Luthor.
Oh, Billy D?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because no one's going to pay attention to anybody but him in the room.
So. Hell no. That's actually not a bad choice. Yeah. Yeah. Like 90s Billy D? Hell yeah. 80s, 90s Billy D? Hell yeah. Well, I like you. I wanted somebody who I knew could be kind of charming, but also kind of sleazy. I went with Jude Law.
Dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see that totally.
I thought about like him in Alfie, where he's just kind of this charming ladies man guy. I thought about him in Gattaca. And I also thought about him in Rise of the Guardians, which is an animated movie, but he plays Boogeyman.
Yeah,
Plays
I remember that.
Pitch, and he is creepy. He is very good as Pitch in Rise of the Guardian. I love that movie a lot. I really like Jude Law. I want Jude Law. I even like him as young Dumbledore in the Fantastic Beasts movies. Those movies very good, debatable, but he's very good as a young Dumbledore. Shave Jude Law's head, put him in a suit, let him charm the pants off every woman in the room, and then my vision of a Lex Luthor is, can they go from being the most charming man in the room to standing behind a desk in the office and scaring the pants off of you with how intense they are? And I think Jude Law can absolutely pull that off.
Yes, definitely. And dude, I didn't think you could get somebody to outcharm Robert Downey Jr. in a movie, but he's there toe to toe with him in those Sherlock films.
Oh my God, yes, he is. Like, it's the two of them working so well together in those Sherlock films that really sell him. Jude Law is so good as Watson. I love those two movies. I really wish they'd make a third one. I know they keep talking about it, but Jude Law is Lex Luthor. I think I was watching Alfie, and it just kind of hit me.
No, I think that's perfect. And I mean, I thought he was okay as the villain in Miss Marvel. It was kind of, I think he played it too.
Oh, and Captain Marvel.
I'm sorry, Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, I think he was a little too mustache twirly initially, so it was like, oh wow, he's the villain. Oh,
you kind of saw him as the villain coming a mile away.
Yeah,
it wasn't that big of a shock.
Yeah, but no, I think that's a perfect idea. All right, Captain Cold, brother, I'm gonna switch it to you. Do you tell me Captain Cold first?
I wanted somebody who I knew, again, could be kind of charming, kind of sleazy, and just kind of snarky, and someone who I'm just a big fan of, and that is Luke Evans.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like
one cold blast like Captain Cold.
I like Luke Evans a lot. If you've ever seen, oh God, it was this really messed up horror movie he was in. And now I'm drawing a total blank on the name of it, and I'm looking it up right now.
Cocaine Bear?
No One Lives. No, God, no. No One Lives. It's a messed up movie that Brodus Clay is actually in for a little bit. He can do scary evil, and he is scary evil in No One Lives. But he also played Vlad the Impaler in Dracula Untold. The movie's not very good, but he was a good pick for a Dracula. I really like, and he's also in a movie called The Raven, which is a movie about Edgar Allan Poe, and he plays this inspector who works with Edgar Allan Poe. It's a good movie. I actually highly recommend it. It's kind of a murder mystery horror movie about Edgar Allan Poe. But he's very good at being cold, calculated, and just downright scary. And I'm blanking on the actor who plays Captain Cold in the Arrowverse, the guy from Prison Break. But he is so good as Captain Cold. And so it's hard to be like, who am I going to get to play Leonard Snart that's better than this guy? And that's a hard one because he was so dialed in as
Wentworth Miller.
Wentworth Miller, love that guy. He's so good in Prison Break, and he's so good as Captain Cold on CW.
Yeah, here, look, here's every appearance of Captain Cold in The Flash. That's your plan. That's not my plan.
Yep. And I love it. And I love it every time.
You're just waiting for him to screw over whoever he's working with.
That man, Wentworth Miller, oozes sleaze off the screen as Leonard Snart. Yes. Which is crazy because he's supposed to be like one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. But Luke Evans, I like Luke Evans a lot. I think Luke Evans is a phenomenal actor who I don't think gets enough work, and I don't think he gets doesn't get enough notoriety for the work that he puts in.
Yeah.
It's a bummer about Beauty and the Beast, but it is what it is. But also, and this has nothing to do with him playing Captain Cold, but if you haven't watched Scrooge: A Christmas Carol, the animated movie on Netflix that dropped last year, do it, because Luke Evans as Ebenezer Scrooge, as the voice of Ebenezer Scrooge, will move you emotionally in a way I cannot describe. He is so good.
Did I watch that one?
If you haven't, watch it this weekend. I know it's May. Watch it this weekend. It's very good, and Luke Evans as Scrooge is insane.
Nice.
Who's
All
your
right.
pick?
I'm just in weird mood with some of these today. I'd pick Dave Bautista.
I don't hate it, but I also love Dave Bautista. Put him in everything.
Yeah, he was.
I'm married to him as Hugo Strange.
I know. No, he was in. I've mentioned it before. There's this. It's a stupid movie. It was an offshoot of the Ip Man series called Master Z, and he plays this like. Yeah, he plays like this restaurant owner who's seems like a philanthropist and so nice and blah blah blah. And then like as the story goes, you were like, oh no, he's the main villain.
Okay, all right.
And just something about his performance in that. And then of course, like he's been great in other things. You know, I think it would be fun to see him kind of play that borderline psychotic kind of sleazy dude and have fun with it.
Absolutely. Dude, Dave Bautista is just, he's so good, and he gets better every time he's in something.
Yeah.
He's so good in Guardians 3. He's really good in Guardians 3.
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh man. Yeah. Also, Luke, another one in defense of Luke Evans. Watch The Alienist. It was a TV show he was on with Daniel Bruhl. Very good. Daniel
Bruhl and the kid from what the heck is her name? That was in Man on Fire. Isn't she in that as well? Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, she's in it too.
Gotcha.
A lot of people in that actually. All right. That leaves us with Sinestro.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going first?
Sure, why not?
Sterling K. Brown.
Who's that? No, I'm just kidding.
No. He was your pick for Jon Stewart. Or something. Dude, I love Sterling K. Brown so much. Sterling K. Brown is so good. I want him in everything. I just rewatched today the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine that he's in.
Yes.
So funny.
As the dentist.
Yeah, that episode, that whole thing is so, when he just monologues at the end, I was like, yes. And he realizes as soon as he's done, like, damn it, I just put myself in jail. I love Sterling K. Brown so much. And I think he's kind of a safe cast for Sinestro, but like the character's name is Sinestro. He literally has a twirly mustache. If anybody can play a mustache twirly villain, it's Sterling K. Brown. I love Sterling K. Brown so much, and to me, him as Sinestro is like the safest casting, but it also makes the most sense.
Oh no, I think it's perfect. All right, you want to know who I picked?
I'm dying to know who you picked.
Mark Strong. No, I'm just kidding. Bring him back.
I liked Mark Strong as Sinestro. Again, the problem with that movie was not the cast.
Yeah, he really is. That was such a waste for him.
Speaking of Sherlock Holmes, he's such a good villain. He's such a good bad guy.
All right, so I picked Tom Ellis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, I just had this moment. I was like, no, because like, yeah, depending on your story, like he's a Green Lantern for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then becomes a villain. And I was like, who better than Lucifer himself?
Yeah.
As long as he keeps a British accent. Because that was something I was going to say last time.
Of course he would. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the other reason I didn't pick him to be like the Shadow or the Batman or whatever things that we talked about is that there's a show he did where he does an American accent. And his voice as an American is so annoying.
Off-putting. Yeah, it's really off-putting.
It's really weird. But no, yeah, dude, like Tom Ellis as Sinestro, I think works so much.
Talk about a man that oozes charisma. I mean, good God. You could put him as Lex Luthor, except you'd have to get rid of the 5 o'clock shadow, and that man should never shave. If Tom Ellis shaves, the world ends.
Yeah. But no, I think that would be fantastic. I think that'd be cool as all get out.
Yeah.
I think it would just be just to see that happening. You know, I mean, he carried like the first 3 or 4 seasons of that Lucifer show. Like that girl they put opposite him, like, man, that was rough.
She got better with every season, but it's just Lucifer was made at a time where like the popular thing to have on TV was a show where someone who's not a cop helps out the cops.
Yes, Castle.
Yeah. Castle, Lucifer, Sleepy Hollow. I mean, it was
Yeah.
everywhere. And to the point where I was like, I don't need another someone who's not a cop helping out the cop show. I really don't.
Yeah.
ABC had like 4 in a row that failed halfway through their first season because they were bad.
Yeah.
So, but Tom Ellis I mean, I can't get over how good he is as Lucifer in Lucifer.
Yeah.
And just again, the kind of slimy, sleazy charisma that it's like, yeah, this guy could charm the pants off anyone, but he could also be just the most evil person on the face of the earth.
Yeah. So I think that would be great as that.
Yeah.
And dude, he's an in shape guy. Whatever you got to do with the suit, I think it's going to work for him. And if you have not watched, oh my gosh, what the heck is the show he was in? A friend of mine told me to check it out, and we ended up going through like the entire series with oh my gosh, what was her name? Hold on, I'm getting there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was a British sitcom, and he's like he's not the main character, but he's the love interest / Miranda. It's called Miranda.
Okay.
And it's what the heck is her name? Her name's Miranda something. Come on, computer, keep up with me. Miranda Hart is the lead. She's
I know her.
Yeah. So it's this like sitcom, and the funny thing is he's doing like the last 2 seasons of that show. I think at the same time he's doing Lucifer.
That's funny.
Funny. He just plays like he's the lust interest, I guess I should say.
The lust interest.
So the first 2 or 3 seasons, she's just after him all the time, and he's just totally oblivious to what she's doing. But yeah, he's very good in that show. It's hilarious. So yeah, dude, him as Sinestro, I'm just down for. I want to see it.
Dude, Tom Ellis is so good. It's so fucking good. All right, let's before we get out of here, let's take a look at the list that TJ Montgomery sent in to us because
we have to. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely have to. All right, so so we'll go in the order that you sent them to me. So for Sinestro, he has Matt Smith.
No, okay.
I can roll with that. I like Matt Smith. I really like him. I mean, I love him in Doctor Who, obviously. Morbius didn't happen. But he's so good in House of the Dragon. He's very good in House of the Dragon. He said Matt Smith, he's an excellent actor who needs a better crack at a comic villain. He also has that elongated Sinestro face. He's not wrong. He's got the facial structure.
I think, yeah.
For Captain Cole, wow. Okay. He said Bill Hader. And you know what? If I hadn't watched Barry, I'd have said he was out of his mind, but I've watched Barry and I'm into it.
Sure.
He said no idea why for this one, but he came to mind and I can't get him out of my head. He's a phenomenal actor who can do both comedic roles and dramatic acting when needed. Yeah, he's very good I mean, he's hilarious, obviously. But if you haven't watched Barry on HBO, anybody out there, like, watch Barry. It's so good. For Lex Luthor, he said I have 2. Option 1 is my preferred option, but I don't think he'd shave his head. John Hamm. I think I like John Hamm for it, but I think he's also right. John Hamm would never shave his head. He said he's got a naturally imposing size of a man at peak condition. He's played many roles where he comes off as the smartest man in the room who knows it. Option 2 is my wild card option of Jason Bateman. He's one of the best actors at being such a calm, likable douchebag with a superiority complex. I think he'd be super mental threat Lex. I don't know how I feel about Bateman.
I can't see it.
I haven't watched Ozark. My mother loves Ozark. I've heard Ozark is excellent, that Jason Bateman is to die for in Ozark.
That's what I've heard.
I don't know. That's a harder sell for me, but it's not my list. For Metallo, he said Will Arnett. He's got that gravelly voice. I could hear coming from a cyborg like that, being that I could work very well. Here's the thing. I love Will Arnett. I love Will Arnett so goddamn much. I don't know about him as Metallo.
That completely changes the dynamic of that character.
But I think depending on the tone of the movie, it could work.
Yes.
But also, I have a hard time not thinking about Lego Batman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cheetah, he said Natalie Dormer. Her face sculpt as a human is already cat-like in and of itself, which would help in the makeup or digital process. She's also a very strong actress who I feel can skirt the line between being fierce and smooth. I like the idea of Natalie Dormer a lot as Cheetah.
Yeah, I could see that. No, yeah.
I like that one a lot, actually. I wish she had gotten a blow up of a career after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good pick. So Ra's al Ghul, I have two options I surprisingly love. Option 1 is my preferred. Oh my God, how did I not think of this one?
Go.
Oded Fehr from The Mummy, the first two Mummy movies.
I know who he is, but he is, yeah.
I don't know, man. I think honestly,
Think of the last thing you saw him in.
Oh, I know. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
That's because he hasn't worked in a long time.
but just thinking about the Mummy movies, I'm like,
dude, the Mummy movies were almost 30 years ago. He
does
not look like that.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Mummy 90s Oded Fehr, yes. Now Oded Fehr, no.
The other one is a completely batshit crazy choice, and that's Tony Shalhoub. Give him facial hair and robes. I think he'd be a good, he's very odd, but his acting would be very engaging.
Engineer Chen, you want to make Racial?
I am weirdly on board with Tony Shalhoub, but I love him in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel as this kind of weird, emotionally all over the place, mathematician from the 60s. If I had to pick one of the, Oded Fehr, I think is great from a action standpoint. I think Tony Shalhoub would be great as kind of the enigmatic psychopath take on it. And then his pick for Deathstroke, he said, if they don't keep Manganiello, who I love, yeah, I'm with you, buddy, is Kevin Durand. I'm trying to think of who that is. I'm drawing a blank.
I'm looking.
Kevin Durant.
He was one of the bad guys in Walking Tall. He was in Real Steel. He's like the better looking version of the guy who played Zod.
That's funny. I'm pulling him up here.
Yeah, I could see it. I could totally see it, though. I can see it.
Totally. I can totally see that. Yeah, I can absolutely see that for Deathstroke. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Deathstroke, yeah. No, he's got the height. He's got he's imposing. I think that'd be cool as hell.
Oh, you know who okay, again, not a good movie, but X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes, he was Blob.
He was Blob.
Yeah.
And before he becomes Fat Blob, when he's just the regular dude to begin. Yeah, I can see that working. Oh, he's in Fruitvale Station. I gotta go back and watch that again. I don't remember him in that. Shit. I gotta go back and watch that again.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, cool. Look, that's kind of the fun of doing this show is we can kind of do whatever the hell we want with it. And at the end of the day, we have no idea who James Gunn's going to pick. And I'm sure we're way off base with all of these. But it remains to be seen. This was fun. I'm glad we did this. We'd love to know who you guys would pick for some of these. So make sure you let us know on Twitter or go over to our website at podpage.com/wearethebatman. And you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Mike Shea.
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J Ninja.
That'll do it for this week's episode of We Are the Batman. We'll see you guys again next time. Same bat time, same bat podcast channel.
Bye-bye.